Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, dead slaves, serfs, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks, hostages. I'm usefully welcome. And a new story has come out. It was broken by Mark Rubio in his tweets, talking about the fact that there's 9,000 U.S. hostages still in Afghanistan. And one of the interesting aspects about this, of course, is it's not a new story. It's 6 months after the Afghan withdrawal. The Senate Foreign Relations Committee came out and said that there was 9,000 U.S. hostages still in Afghanistan. And of course, we shouldn't be surprised that the initial report would get buried and wouldn't be picked up by media outlets that support the Democrats and the Biden administration. So they're going to bury that story because it makes the disastrous withdrawal look even that worse. But it gets more complicated, of course, because we live in an era where these kind of hostage situations are very dramatic, very political, and are splashed all over the media. Of course, recently we've had the hostages taken by Hamas, and that's been an ongoing story for well over a year, and has been a centerpiece of media stories talking about these hostages and what a linchpin it was for negotiations in the Israel-Gaza confrontation. And historically, that's been true as well. Back when I was a young lad, of course, the hostages taken by Iran when the Shah fell and then held for a year was a story that was on the news every night, and it was a big deal. So these hostage situations, or people being left behind in this case, are a big deal. And the fact that this one has been swept under the rug makes it an even bigger deal. And there's talk, of course, that some of the Americans chose to remain behind, so they're not able to necessarily classify them as hostages. But I'm sure 9,000 didn't elect to stay in Afghanistan. So it's pretty telling that this story has dropped out of the news cycle completely. So I assume that now that Mark Rubio has brought it up again, it's going to be on the agenda, and perhaps there will be negotiations between the Trump administration and the Taliban to get these 9,000 Americans back. But no, like I mentioned earlier, no surprise that that fact would have been brushed under the carpet for the remainder of the Biden administration. The added embarrassment of not only the disastrous withdrawal, but 9,000 Americans being left behind. So I'll have to keep our eyes peeled moving forward to see if this becomes another dramatic negotiation between the Trump administration and the Taliban, and exactly who these 9,000 Americans are. But pretty stunning overall. I'm useful idiot. Don't you be one too?